So, it's been about 2 weeks since our last round of balance changes, and more than a month since I did a Best Brawlers video. So, let's take a look at what the meta looks like according to the current win and use rates from Brawl Stats. What's going on, Jam Fam, and welcome back to the gaming station. So, like I already said, we're going to be looking at the win and use rates for each mode and try to figure out who the 5 best brawlers for each mode are. I'm going to be upfront about this right now. Not everyone's going to agree with these lists this time around. There's a few brawlers that are said to be very good right now, but they simply don't have good enough win rates to be even close to making the list, El Primo being the main one. I know he just got a huge buff and he feels good to play, but overall, he still has really low win percentages across all modes, and because of the way I do my list, that disqualifies him. Also, for whatever reason, Brawl Stats isn't tracking the rates for Knockout right now, even though it's been added as a permanent mode and has been available for weeks now. So today we won't be covering Knockout, but hopefully the next time we do this list, they will have Knockout numbers so we can actually cover that mode as well. Alright, before we get started, let me know what brawler you're currently loving right now in the meta. For me, I'd say Carl. I've been doing really well with him for the last season and a half, and he's a really well-rounded brawler that's right in the thick of the meta right now. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get started on these lists. As always, we're going to kick things off with Gem Grab. So, number 5 for Gem Grab is going to be Ems. Right now, Ems has the 12th highest win rate and the 5th highest use rate for the mode. Number 4 is going to be Sandy. He's currently 8th in win rates and 4th in use rates. Tara is going to come in at number 3, rounding out the middle of the list. She has the 6th highest win rates and the 2nd highest use rates for the mode. Number 2 is going to be Carl. He's currently 4th in win rates and 6th in use rates. And the number 1 brawler for Gem Grab is going to be 8-Bit. 8-Bit currently has the 3rd highest win rates and the 9th highest use rates for the mode. I think this is a pretty solid list overall. Ems, Carl, and Tara are all very good lane brawlers. Sandy's a great support brawler because of his super, and 8-Bit is probably one of the better gem carriers if you're running his plugged-in star power. A brawler that I'm really surprised missed the list is Gene, since all the pros are saying that he's the best mid in the game right now, and he does have the number 1 use rate overall. However, his win rates aren't quite there to make my list, so he didn't make the cut. Alright, moving on, we have the next mode, Brawl Ball. Now, quick disclaimer, I only have 4 brawlers for this list. Brawl Ball is always the mode that gives me the most trouble when I do these lists, and I usually do the top 15 brawlers for win and use rates instead of the top 10. However, this time, that didn't work because I was only able to match 4 brawlers between the 2 lists. If I did have to pick a brawler to be number 5 on the list, it would have been Nita. She's currently 10th in win rates, but she's only 17th in use rates, and she would have been the next brawler to make the cut if I went to the top 20 for each metric. However, I'm not really comfortable saying that she's a meta brawler with her being so far out of the sample parameters, so we can say she's an honorable mention for now. Alright, so anyway, let's get into the top 4 now. Number 4 is going to be Carl. He has the 13th highest win rate and the 12th highest use rate for the mode. Number 3 is going to be Gene, oddly enough. He has the 9th highest win rates and the 8th highest use rates for the mode. Tara is going to be number 2, having the 8th highest win rates and the 3rd highest use rates for Brawl Ball. And number 1 for Brawl Ball is going to be Ems. Ems has the 2nd highest win rate and the 5th highest use rate for the mode. So, I'll be honest, I'm not really crazy about this list since I had to stretch down to the top 15 and still couldn't come up with 5 brawlers for the mode. However, I would say it's still pretty decent for the 4 brawlers that I did come up with, except maybe Gene. Gene can be okay in Brawl Ball, but I wouldn't normally say that he's a top brawler for the mode. But according to the numbers, he's doing perfectly fine in the mode, so I had to put him on this list. Alright, we're going to move on to the next mode, and that's going to be Heist. Okay, number 5 for Heist is going to be Crow. Crow is currently 5th in win rates for the mode, but he's only number 5 on my list because he only has the 12th highest use rates. Number 4 is going to be Barley. Barley is 9th in win rates and 6th in use rates for the mode. Spike is going to round out the middle of this list. Currently, Spike is 7th in win rates and 10th in use rates. Number 2 for Heist is going to be Colette. Colette is 6th in win rates and 2nd in use rates for Heist. And the number 1 Heist brawler is going to be Ems. Ems is currently 2nd in win rate for Heist and 8th in use rates. So far, this list came out the best, I think. All of these brawlers are very good in Heist. Crow's a little map dependent and can struggle depending on the comps that he's facing, but overall he's very good for the mode. Another thing to note is that not one tank appeared in the top 10 of win or use rates for Heist, despite this being called a tank meta. I found that interesting and I thought I'd throw that out there. Alright, moving on to the next mode, we have Bounty. Alright, kicking off the Bounty list, we have Mortis. Mortis is 8th in win rates and 3rd in use rates for Bounty. Number 4 is going to be Rosa. Rosa is 5th in win rates and 7th in use rates for the mode. Gene's going to come in at number 3, being 4th in win rates and 10th in use rates. Number 2 is going to be Sprout. Sprout has the 3rd highest win rates and the 6th highest use rates. And the number 1 Bounty brawler is going to be Nani. Right now, Nani is number 1 in win rates and 8th in use rates for Bounty. I'm happier with this list than the last time I did it when I had to say Rosa was the number 1 Bounty brawler. I still find it weird that she's in the Bounty meta, but apparently the last time I did it wasn't a fluke because she's here again, but she's only number 4 this time around. But other than Rosa, I think everybody else has a place on this list. Mortis is clearly a counterpick to the Sprouts and Ticks you're going to see in Bounty. Jean can use his super to pull people out of position and get them isolated very easily for easy kills. Sprout is one of the safest brawlers in the game. You don't have to be anywhere near danger to play Sprout efficiently. And Nani's still doing great in the mode despite her partner in crime Bo getting that big nerf. And this is likely because of that super rework she got where it's easier for her to get her super on her own now, so she doesn't need Bo's help anymore. Okay, now we're going to move on to our next mode, which is Siege. Number 5 for Siege is going to be Jean. Right now Jean has the 9th highest win rates and the 2nd highest use rates for the mode. Number 4 is going to be Stu. Stu is currently 8th in win rates and 5th in use rates. Number 3 is going to be Lou. Lou is 3rd in win rates and 9th in use rates for the mode. Carl's going to be number 2, having the 2nd highest win rates and the number 1 use rates for Siege. And the number 1 Siege brawler is going to be Belle. Belle has the number 1 win rate and the 6th highest use rates for the mode. So Jean and Lou are great at defense for the mode, Carl and Stu are great at holding lane and collecting bolts, and Belle is just one of the best brawlers for Siege hands down. It's interesting that no throwers were in the top win percentage for Siege this time around, but that's probably because brawlers like Stu and Carl give them a hard time if they don't play very well. So with those two brawlers being so dominant, it kind of pushes them out of the meta. And we're on the last mode of the day, and that's going to be Hotzone. Starting off Hotzone, we have Nita. Nita is currently 10th in win rates and 9th in use rates for the mode. Number 4 is going to be Tara. Tara has the 8th highest win and use rates for the mode. Number 3 is going to be Amber. She's currently 5th in terms of win rate and 3rd in terms of use rates for Hotzone. Gale is going to be number 2. He currently has the 3rd highest win rates and the 10th highest use rates for Hotzone. And Stu is going to be the number 1 Hotzone brawler, having the 2nd highest win rates and the number 1 overall use rates. So I don't really have a ton to say about this one. Nita, Gale, and Amber are all really good control brawlers, although Nita can struggle if she's outranged, depending on the map you're playing her on. Tara is great at punishing people who group up, which tends to happen a lot in the mode. And Stu is just a jack of all trades, being very mobile and able to get kills very quickly, but also having the range to stay at a safe distance when he needs to. Alright, now before we end this video, I just want to go over what brawlers appeared on multiple lists and which ones I think may be a bit underplayed. First off, we're going to go over the strong brawlers. No brawlers appeared on more than 3 lists this time around, but there were 4 brawlers that appeared on 3 lists. Those brawlers were Carl, being on the Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, and Siege list. Ems being on Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, and Heist. Tara made the Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, and Hotzone list. And Jean was on Brawl Ball, Bounty, and Siege. This is an indication that these brawlers are solid in the meta. But remember that all brawlers have maps that they're going to struggle on, so take that into consideration before you just blindly take them into a mode. As for brawlers that I think are being a bit underplayed, I have 2 of them this time around, those being Belle and Lou. Now, I know Belle still has a mythic drop rate, and many people haven't unlocked her yet, so I understand the lower play rate. However, she has solid win rates in 4 out of 6 modes that we talked about today, those being Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, Heist, and Siege. She did make the Siege list, but she's extremely versatile, and if you have her, you can play her in pretty much any mode in the game. Honestly, if she doesn't get nerfed in the next round of balance changes and her rarity drops to epic, I would expect to see her make more lists because more people are going to unlock her, and she's still going to be an extremely strong brawler. And as for Lou, as much as I dislike him, I can't deny that he's been buffed to the point where he's extremely strong. He has solid win rates in Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, Hotzone, and Siege. Technically, he's number 1 in Heist, but his use rates are insanely low, so we're not going to consider that. The control he offers is pretty insane, and it makes it very difficult to play on certain maps if he uses his super right. Like I've said many times, he's my least favorite brawler, but you might want to consider playing him in a mode where you need to maintain control as much as possible. But that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think about my list, and let me know what brawlers you think I missed out on. I know people are saying this is a tank meta, but the numbers in win and play rates don't really support that. So we could talk about that down in the comments if you want. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.